Okay. Hi, Kevin. I'm Jeanette from Clinica Sierra Vista. How are you?
Hi, Jeanette. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So before we get started, I just want to go over some confidentiality, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so whatever you say between me and you is totally confidential. I do staff these cases with my supervisor, and that's in order to provide you with the best services. So I do talk to her about this. Also, I am a mandated reporter, so if you disclose any sort of abuse, I am required to tell, okay?
Okay.
Also, if this is subpoenaed in court, I do have to provide them with that information. Okay?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So what brings you in today?
A couple things. I've just been a little bit stressed from work, from family life. Been dealing with a lot of issues lately that I'm trying to get through. So
What kind
that's
of issues?
mostly family stuff. I recently came out to them a few months ago to my parents, and it's been hard. It's been over 15 years now that I've kind of known who I am and stuff, and they're just very like hardcore Catholic, Latinos, and so it was kind of hard for me to be who I am now. But yeah, just a lot of that stress, and then plus school. I'm going to school to get my master's degree in accounting, and full-time job. It's just been a little bit rough for me.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is that you're stressed from school, you're working on your master's degree, and your relationship with your family is a little bit strained because you just came out.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your relationship with your family.
So I have one brother, and he is about 6 years younger than me. We're not that close, actually. When we were younger, we were a lot closer, but I think it's the age gap that's, it makes a big difference. We don't really hang out, have the same friends. But so I've known for a long time that I was gay and things like that. But I told him first a few months prior to telling my parents because he's just been there for me. Like we're not close, but we still know that he's my brother. I love him. And so he was fully accepting. He was like, yeah, I kind of knew that already. People already kind of know it's fine. Like, be who you are. But my parents, on the other hand, we were close. I loved them a lot. But my mom was kind of shocked when I told her, and my dad was kind of just like, okay, it's fine. Be who you are as long as you're happy. And I was expecting it to be different because my dad was always the one that's like, you're gonna get your stuff together. You have to do this. You got to go to school. You got to do that. So he was more strict and more, just on me all the time. So we were super close before then, and then when I told them, things kind of just have been a little bit rocky afterwards. My mom's still kind of just in denial, and my dad is just, we never brought it up again. I told him about 6 or 7 months ago, and we haven't spoken about it since.
Okay. And how would you like things to change with your relationship?
I want them to realize that I'm still me, nothing's changed. I'm the same old person, and I just want them to fully accept me for who I am. I know they do, and I know they say they do, but things just feel, they're not the same as they used to be. It's a little more awkward now. My mom doesn't really ask me any questions regarding my dating life anymore, if I have a girlfriend anymore. No, she used to ask me that all the time, and now it's not like, oh, well, do you have a boyfriend now or something? We never bring it up. It doesn't come up in conversation.
How does that make you feel?
Um, it hurt me a lot, but
Mhm.
I've always been the type of person to internalize a lot. I'm always just kind of thinking like, okay, well, what are they thinking? I put myself in their shoes and okay, how do they feel? How do I feel? But I never let it get to me to the point where I'm like depressed about it or like it makes me sad. I want to cry, whatever. It just kind of makes me feel like, okay, well, that's how you feel, then so be it. I'm still going
Mhm.
to be me regardless of what you think, even though you're my parents and I want your support. I won't beg for it and I won't be mad about it. I won't cry for it. Things like that.
Okay. So, what do you think you can start to do in order to change that relationship?
I've been giving my parents a lot of time. I can't expect them to like fully accept me for me. I've known who I am for about 15 years now, maybe since I was like 12, 13.
Mhm.
So just giving them time, I can't expect them to just like, be happy all of a sudden and just accept me. Like I know it takes time to process something like that, especially since they've thought, for so long that I would eventually, find a woman and get married and have kids, have a family, whatever. So it's a lot to take in. So I understand that they're processing. So I definitely need to just maybe give them a little more time. Maybe if I find someone, that's serious that I want, them to meet my parents, then we'll go from there. And that way they can see that I am serious. It's not just a phase, like my mom had mentioned when I first told her that it was just a phase. So hopefully it'll get better.
Mhm. Okay. So what's the downside of how things are right now?
We don't really hang out as much. Me and my brother actually did get a little bit closer after I told him. He was just kind of like, "Yeah, I already knew that. It's fine. I still love you and my brother. Like, we don't hang out all the time, but he's always there for me. I know I can talk to him about anything." But mostly the downside is just not being so close to my parents anymore. Like my dad says he's fine with it, but you talk to them and you see it in their eyes. It's just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'm happy for you, but in reality, they're in denial, or they're kind of just like, wow, where did I go wrong? What's going on? Like, how can he do this to us? And it hurts, but it's making me just realize I need to give them more time and more, just for them to process everything.
Right. How important is this relationship to you?
I love my parents, absolutely love them. They were the only two that I was scared of to tell when I did finally come out to my friends and family. They're the only ones that mattered. I guess, I had a few friends that, they were fine with it. They already knew. And so we just got closer. Other people were kind of just like, oh, I didn't know that, but their approval was the most that mattered to me. I didn't care if anybody else like hated me, rejected me, whatever. It was their approval that I needed. If they
Hmm.
would have like rejected me on the spot, I wouldn't know what I would have done. I wouldn't have done anything crazy, but I just kind of would have been like, okay, well, now I see how it is. Family's not always there for you when they say they are. Just because they're family doesn't mean that just because their blood doesn't mean they're family. So hopefully it works out in the end.
Yeah. So if your parents were here, what do you think they would tell you about how you feel about your relationship with them?
Um, so I've been kind of talking to my mom. I mean, we still talk. We're still, a family. They're my parents, but I don't really talk to them about it much anymore. I feel like if I did bring it up again, my mom would kind of just be like, like, are you sure are you sure it's not just a phase? Like, I've never noticed. How is it possible? That's what all those questions kind of came to light when I told her that she didn't realize it or she didn't see it or how, I'm not like, in her mind, I'm not like how normal gay people are, I guess. But those are just a lot of stereotypes that I don't really, you know, we talked about it. I'm just not like that. I'm not into like makeup. I don't want to become a woman. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm just not that type of person. That's just a label that I
Mhm.
don't like. And if they were here, they'd probably just still think it was a phase or still think that one day things will change or something. But they won't. I've known for a long time.
Okay. Well, like I asked earlier, what is one thing you can do to move your relationship with your family to something more positive?
As much time as I want to give them, I probably could talk to them more about it, maybe bring it up again. I normally just don't bring it up in conversation, but mostly because there's really nothing going on. I've been so focused with school, with work, with my mental health that I haven't really been out there looking for a relationship. So
Hmm.
maybe by talking to them about that and telling them like, hey, maybe, now that I'm almost done with school, now that I've got my career on track, maybe I can find someone and, date around or something and hopefully find someone that can meet them and they approve of. Their approval is it just means the world to me. And if they didn't, you know, it's sad to think that, but I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have that same support. So, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me if they didn't, but I'm hoping that they could. I'm interested to communicate with them a little more, I think.
Okay. And how would, let's say, your parents do change and they're more accepting and you guys have a positive relationship, how would that look like to you? How would you know that everything changed?
I feel like they would not really be in denial so much anymore. I feel like they would talk to me more about it because my mom before used to always ask me and talk to me like, who are you dating? I have a best friend named Tina, and she was always around me. We're always together, and she would ask me like, "Oh, hey, you're and Tina dating? Is she your girlfriend?" I'm like, "No, mom, she's just my best friend. She's my best friend." So she was constantly asking me if I was dating anyone or if the girl I brought home one day was my girlfriend. I'm like, no, they're just friends, we're just hanging out. So I feel like if she were to start asking me about that in like regards to like a boy that I bring home or something, then she would be like, okay, this is finally happening. It's real. He's not, it's not a phase anymore. I need to be more accepting or something like that. They would just talk to me more about it and not look the other way kind of if I ever did bring it up.
Okay. So what do you think they need to do in order to make that step forward?
Um, I can't expect them, like I said, to just be accepting all of a sudden. It took me, I look at it from different perspectives. I look at it from like mine and from theirs and from other people. I know other people's opinions don't really matter to me, but I think about it like, okay, well, it took me 15 years to come out to them. I've known for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me that long to be comfortable enough to tell them, then I need to give them a lot more time to process the fact, I can't just expect them to be accepting all of a sudden. I know it's going to take some time to think about things and accept things the way they are. So me giving them that time, I think will hopefully eventually lead to something.
Right. You seem to care a lot about your parents.
I do. I love them the most. They've been there for me through everything, through school, through work, just life in general. I know I can talk to them about anything else that goes on. And they've been super supportive of me, everything that I've done.
So how does this affect your life? Like how does it take a toll on you or?
It can at times. A few days actually before I did come out to them, I was feeling a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress at work. It was getting to me. I mentally prepared myself for the worst because that's just the type of person that I am. I always expect the worst. I hope for the best, but I expect the worst. So I thought, they're going to reject me. They're going to hate me. What am I going to do? And so I put myself in that mindset that they were going to reject me. And I told myself, well, you better have a plan B if something, if anything goes wrong, where you're going to go, who you're going to stay with, what are you going to do? So it was a lot. It took a lot on my mind, like mentally figuring that stuff out and putting myself in that mindset. So when things went well, it's still kind of, I had already put myself in that mentality that they were going to reject me. I was like, going to get ready for all that hate, but it didn't. Luckily it turned out fine, and they said they accepted me, and it was fine. They didn't hate me, they didn't reject me, they didn't kick me out of the house or anything. So I just had to put myself back in the mindset that, okay, everything's fine now. You're fine. They accept you. They may not like it right away, or like fully accept it, but at least they've mentioned it. Like, okay, as long as you're happy, it's fine. Whatever, it's fine. So I kind of it did affect my work performance a little. I was always kind of distressing. I worked with clients a lot I worked with clients a lot at the window. So my coworkers could see that it was like taking a toll on me. They're like, are you okay? You seem a little upset. I'm like, no, just thinking about life, I guess.
Yeah. Suppose no changes are made, and how do you think your life will be like in 5 years?
If no changes are made, I guess they'd be the same as they've been for the last 15 years. Me just being who I am, not openly to them, but now that they know, and if they still don't, I see myself living somewhere else. And eventually I will move out of my house. I still live with them right now. So once I finish school, once I save up a little bit of money, I feel like I could get my own place and live my life the way I want to, regardless of who accepts me and who doesn't. It's unfortunate to say, but if I'm not gonna let it get to me if they don't. I'm not gonna be angry about it, cry about it. Like I'll be upset, sure, but I can't let it be my whole life. I can't always just think about their rejection if nothing happens. So I just need to move
Right.
on and live my own life the way I want to.
So you said earlier how you're giving them time, you're giving them their space, but when do you think, what I'm trying to say is, are you going to wait for them to come to you, or are you going to try to go to them first?
I probably will try to go to them again, but like I said before, maybe when something a little more serious comes around, maybe right now because they don't see me like with anybody, dating anybody, they
Mm-hmm.
kind of don't believe that it's real, but once I do get my love life, I guess, on track and find someone that I really like and worthy enough to meet my parents, then, be like, hey, mom and dad, this is so and so, and, we're together and it's serious. So I'm hoping they accept him and they accept us as a couple, and hopefully, just kind of give him a little time. But if too much time passes, then I for sure would make the first move, probably.
Okay. So I'd like to pause for a moment and just check in with you on how you're feeling about this discussion so far.
I feel good. It feels good to get things off my chest, but I mean, yeah, I've already kind of, like I said, I internalize a lot, so I'm kind of already, I don't feel upset or sad about the situation right now. I'm just kind of just like, okay, just take things one day at a time and see where, what happens. So right now I'm feeling good. Don't feel so any other kind of feelings right now.